So more or less what happened was, we need to bring you back to get the scope of this, right? So basically, Chris Jericho on Christmas has his little meltdown, okay? He tweets at Stephen P. New. Now, a lot of people think Stephen P. New was in the wrong because of this, because he was sort of, I don't know, he's out there doing podcast. I think it's weird that someone's attorney's out there doing wrestling podcasts, pulling the curtain back. But I'm a mark, so I enjoy it. I enjoy all the shoot interviews. I like it all. So I'm here for it, but I definitely am not. I do agree that, yeah, that's kind of cringe, but shout out Stephen P. New. But either way, he's sort of stooging this and that about, I don't want to say stooging, but he's pulling the curtain back on the things that people aren't allowed to stooge in the land of stooges. So, and by that, I mean what happened at Brawl Out and Brawl In, if you will, as well, because we would love to know. Because apparently Tony Khan and AEW is the company where it's the safest record in the history of recorded time in history and space of pro wrestling. AEW is the safest place ever, but 3 or 4 months ago, I was on national television telling everyone that I feared for my life backstage at my work. But anyways, so Jericho has his little meltdown with Stephen P. New, talking shit. I was in the room. I this and that. Saying that, or implying rather, that Ace Steel's wife's actions were disgusting, or however he implied that. So then people started digging shit up on Jericho and his wife. And I don't know, he sort of brought it on himself. And then all of a sudden, pictures come out from, I think the guy's name is Steve Carrier, Ringside News. Pictures come out of him making out with a girl in an elevator, it looks like, or something that ain't his wife. And then stuff comes out about Kylie Rae, right? And these allegations and the NDAs, and there's lifetime NDAs. And not only did, and you guys, we have to bring it back a few steps. And I know you guys know, but we got to summate it all and preface it all, because it starts with the fact that Jericho said in this tweet, beyond calling out wives, he also said, I've never, ever, sorry, had to steal his gimmick. I've never, ever signed an NDA in my life, even though, like, that's bullshit. He's done movies, shooting music videos, people sign NDAs. Like, it's just bullshit. So regardless, there's some sort of confidentiality agreement, blah, 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 blah. So now the Kylie Rae stuff comes out, and apparently Jericho and Tony Khan had her sign an NDA. And I'm sorry, I'm not laughing. I'm laughing at all of the circumstance, not the fucking, like, you guys know. I don't got to defend myself here. So he, like, whatever happened, Kylie never confirmed nor denied, but whatever happened is, she stepped away from the wrestling business, and apparently there was a lifetime NDA involved to get her out of her contract. This is the rumors going around. We went over it on the last show. So I think it sort of stems with that, because the pressure was on Tony Khan, and everyone's clowning him because at the fucking press conference, at the media scrum for Final Battle, the man sitting there looking like one of the dudes from Bedrock, one of the guys in fucking Fred Flintstone's bowling club with the fur hats, and he's got these glasses on, and he's answering this serious question about the Chris Jericho allegations, and giving this spiel about how AEW is the safest. It's the safest in recorded time in history and space. In the history, I stack it against any pro wrestling company. We're the safest in the entire universe. Despite the fact that we just saw on this last Dynamite, Darby, Sting, and Hobbs all almost die. Despite the fact we've seen Dantes Martin foot spin around. Despite the fact we see countless injuries and guys with broken orbitals and arms wrestling 30 fucking plus minute matches. And despite the fact that we have people falling off cranes and smashing their heads and getting busted open hard way. And despite the fact that we have Kyle O'Reilly and Thunder Rosa and people having near career ending injuries there. And despite the fact that we have or what is it like? Or are we talking about backstage where we've had Sammy Guevara get smacked? We've had Sammy Guevara get smacked by Kingston and Andrade. Uh, backstage where CM Punk and Jack Perry fought, or is it where you said you feared for your life after the Young Bucks and CM Punk and everyone had a big brawl where people were being bit and chairs were being thrown, or is it countless other Ruby Soho wanting to smack Ty Mello out for a shoot? Or is it when Thunder Rosa got in a shoot with Ivelisse? Or is it when Thunder Rosa apparently hurt Jamie Hayter and she had to run and hide in a bathroom stall, or the reports that Meltzer and them came out with, right? So is it because she was scared that she was going to get jumped by Britt Baker and them? So which is it, right? Like what is the safest in the history of pro wrestling? Name the instances besides fucking Jericho going up to Brock. Like, where's the instances of, oh, you hear Matt Riddle slapped Gunther and then Gunther laughed in his face, and that was the extent of it, right? So like where are the stories of like it being unsafe there in comparison? And I guess we'll talk about it now, but I feel like Tony Khan, or we'll talk about it in a bit, because there were some injuries in WWE and we'll talk about how they're handled differently, okay, between the companies. I just listed a myriad of ways of how this potentially isn't the safest company to work. And Tony Khan, though, in the history of time and space, it's great. Everything's great. And what's really great is how everybody's doing the it's great thing now. And we invented that here on PWT. Y'all know that. You can go back in the history books. I had analyzed 10 minutes of Tony Khan, and it's a video. I've plugged it a million times on the pod. People are probably sick of hearing about it, but just check out at Pro Wrestle Clips, 10 minutes of Tony Khan. And it's 10 minutes of, I just cut together every time Tony Khan appeared on the All Access show, the reality show they tried to do that failed horribly. Every moment he appears, other than I think one where he's running down the hall like a goofball, and just YouTube won't allow that to be on YouTube for whatever reason. I know why. He's literally a goofball waving at people. Hey. It's so cringe. But anyways, it's 10 minutes of Tony Khan going, it's great. I love it. And it's just showing he loves soda water and he says it's great. So that's the joke on the show. It's been that way for months. So Tony Khan, though, everything's great. Safest fucking company in the world, according to him. And that's a complete and utter joke, rather. But it's not even that. It's a big deal. Like, I'm not sitting here like, oh, how dare he say, you guys know that. Like, even when he works the number for All In, I'm like, promoter's going to promote. Like, let him promote. And like, it's like when Vince with the steroid trial. Now, was he guilty of giving them steroids? Yeah. No, but he definitely knew about it and looked the other way. And is that, should he have had everything ripped away from him? No. Should Tony have everything ripped away from him because he's fucking dressed like a Scooby-Doo villain fucking with Tony Storm's hat on telling lies? No, he should, but he's a scumbag promoter like any scumbag promoter. Shout out all the scumbag promoters out there. I don't hate you guys, business, but what I'm saying is, if he's gonna be on his high horse about Vince and all that, and Jericho's gonna have this NDA shit, well, then he better be ready to deal with the heat and come with some transparency and say, listen, like, no, Jericho had nothing to do with that. That never happened. But he won't say that. And so what are they doing on Dynamite? We're seeing Jericho come out and his music plays during his whole run in. And you can hear the boos underlying. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's boos underneath the fucking music. You can hear them. And they're trying to play the music over it. And then everybody who says, oh, WWE pipes and boos. Well, you better keep that same energy, as the kids say, because they're piping in cheers on Collision. They got Jericho on the tape shows. On Battle of the Belts, they turned the match with Ricky Starks and Big Bill and Sammy Guevara and Jericho. And they don't call them the Sex Gods. They're not referred to as the Sex Gods on Twitter or anything. They just completely dropped that moniker. And Jericho's going, Les Champions. That's what he's doing now. Good swerve. Jericho knows he knows what to do. He's smart. He really is. Say what you will about the man. He is a genius. He does know how to get over and how to let, because this too will pass. And we got to be honest here. There's no like hard evidence he did anything. People saying Nick Hausman backtracked. Nick Hausman did not backtrack. He doubled down. And if you don't realize that, people like to throw this term around, media literacy. You need some fucking media literacy, because Nick Hausman doubled down on the Jericho thing. If anything, if I'm Nick Hausman, bro, he's still submitting like media passes for AEW. Like Jericho's gonna clock that guy in the face. And and shout out Nick Hausman. There's got to be guys who are willing to stick their necks out in journalism and tell the truth. There is, but also at the same time, like, we don't know with Jericho, guys. We don't know. We can't just throw all these accusations around. It's too crazy to just, but Kylie Rae hearting that fucking, she hearted some comment in reference to it. Maybe that, I don't know, right? We don't know until we know, or until she's willing to say something, because you guys have to understand something too. These NDAs don't violate. If criminal activity take place, you can break your NDA if it means someone has to go to fucking prison. Do you understand? Like, that's usually people who have the power to keep you under that type of thumb, though. You don't want to piss those people off, or they pay you a shitload of money so you can't talk. They probably paid her a shitload of money if that was the case, so she can't then go, oh, I felt, because you didn't feel that way when you took the money, which, is it fucked up? Yeah, the world ain't perfect, guys, and I'm sorry. But anyways, we're not going to get into that whole societal fucking rant there. Sticking with the wrestling here. So they're masking Jericho's booze and all of that. They did a street fight where he brawled in the backstage the whole time. And then by the time they came out, he just got thrown off of shit. And Sammy Guevara dives off this shit and lands and almost kills himself. And it was pretty cool, though. I won't lie. Sammy's crazy. And Starks and them defended their belts. Good shit. Good shit, pal. But they're masking this shit. And it seems obvious what they're doing. And to bring it back to the press conference, it's like Tony Khan can't definitively say, no, Jericho did not do this shit, or he was not involved, or I don't recall this. I don't even recall that ever happening. There's no way. Like, if you can't even do something like that, then it seems guilty, but we can't go, guilt. But then when you start doing the things on the show, like, let them get out there and get fucking booed and have people chant NDA. Like, maybe, yeah, it's distaste, it's a bad look, but it's like, let them do that then if it's not true. Like, you got to go out there and own that shit, or he should have came out at the press conference. It's all of the things now added up. That makes you go, I don't know, like, I don't know, not to cast stones, not to, but it goes, it just, how do they say? It gives, a little, it's just a little cringe. It's a little like you just are making it look worse. Period. So I think Tony's feeling a lot of heat from that as we transition into now his meltdown